Hey there, guys. I want to talk about Hasbro and my opinion of them in recent years, as quite frankly, it's not good. As many of you guys may remember, when COVID happened, that affected a lot of things. Things got more expensive, and the whole world just kind of got really tough. And it's now 2025, and even though not everything has gone completely back to normal the way it was before, things have normalized, and Hasbro doesn't really have much of an excuse, when they raise prices. At least back then, it was understandable why the figures went up by like $5. However, for Hasbro, that just isn't enough. Despite the fact that the world has gotten a bit better, they continue to raise prices. We started with $20, then it became 22, then it became 25, then 27, and now we are here at $30 for a standard Marvel Legends. From my point of view, it just seems like the leadership at Hasbro is all over the place. Half the time they act like they're committed to being a toy company, and the other half they're basically talking about how they're like moving away from toy, that they gotta be more diverse with what they create. And now we have Hasbro's latest stunt, the Maximum series, which is basically the deluxe series, but they added a few little things and then they raised the price to $50+. And here's the thing, I don't hate Hasbro. What I hate is what they've become. Hasbro is the reason I became a collector in the first place. Back a few years ago, they bought Power Rangers and they basically made the best toy line for Power Ranger fans. To this very day, Power Rangers Lightning Collection is the foundation of my collection. It's what makes up the majority of it, and it's basically my favorite toy line to have ever been made. And it sucks that Hasbro decided to shut it down and basically give the toy rights to another company, which unfortunately, it seems they're gonna focus on Mighty Morphin and nothing else, which, as a Power Rangers fan, not a Mighty Morphin fan, but as a Power Ranger fan, that really doesn't sit well with me. Unfortunately, Hasbro has become too greedy. It's the main reason they keep making bad decisions. And the thing that's been irritating me lately is the fact that there are some content creators out there who basically are just damage controlling and defending Hasbro, which quite frankly does nothing good for the consumer. Now, there's one thing I want to make perfectly clear. When it comes to Marvel Legends, I was never like a hardcore collector. Most of the figures I bought were usually Spider-Man, Venom, and Spider-Woman type figures. The only exception I made was characters like Black Widow, because, well, they're technically named after a spider despite not being part of the, Spider-Man family. Now I'm going to show you the Marvel Legends that I currently own. I used to have more, but I ended up selling them. And the sad thing is, I'm actually thinking of selling these ones as well. The only one I want to keep at this point is the Amazing Fantasy version. And quite frankly, I don't think I'm going to be buying any more Marvel Legends moving forward. As far as I'm concerned, Hasbro wants us to pay $30 for a standard figure and $50 or even more for a deluxe. And here's the thing, at that price point, it just doesn't make sense to buy figures from Hasbro. If you guys have watched my review of Cammy, which is my first video on this channel, you know that I said that Hasbro figures are not worth $30. And the main reason they aren't when compared to something like Jedi Toys, which I do believe are worth that amount, this mainly comes to two things. The first reason comes down to how solid the figure feels. As you saw earlier, I have the Marvel Legends Black Suit Spider-Man from Secret Wars, which was a really recent release. And despite being a recent release for Marvel Legends, this figure doesn't feel particularly good. The main reason is because the plastic feels very gummy. And because of that, when you try to articulate it, the plastic begins to warp and bend, and if the joints are stiff enough, they can actually cause the part to disconnect. And if these figures were still 20 or even 25, I could easily overlook this, but now that they're up to the $30 range, I expect these figures to be better, and Hasbro has no interest in making them better. And the second major problem has to do with quality control or QC. When it comes to the paint, stuff just doesn't line up, and sometimes they fuck up so badly that you don't understand how it's even possible. Which, when it comes to Hasbro, is nothing new. This is something that people have been putting up with in pretty much most of their lines. And finally, the main reason why I'm not gonna be buying Marvel Legends figures anymore is because, quite frankly, at the $30 to $50 range, you got better alternatives. For example, we now have knockoffs or KOs as people call them, and what's crazy is that they're at a point where they're no longer trying to pretend like they're the official product. You know, they're not trying to trick you into buying their stuff. Not all, but there are companies out there that are making figures that are really good and people actually want to buy them. Like, that's pretty amazing. Not to mention, they also go above and beyond by creating alternative versions with those figures that the official company, for whatever reason, never makes themselves. And even if you're the type who only wants official products, well, you got Mayfix, you got Amazing Yamaguchi, you got figure art. Granted, they do cost more than the Maximum series, but you get more, you know, they are actually worth the price, at least when compared to what Hasbro is giving you. Anyway, that's all I really have to say now. I'm really not happy with the direction that Hasbro is going, and I don't see myself buying any more Marvel Legends from them. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.